welcome back
to the Breed and Bun
podcast.
podcast.
This morning, my voice is croaky.
I know. You'll get better.
Yes, it will. Welcome back to our podcast, guys. If this is the first time you're tuning in,
Welcome.
we are so glad to have you. I'm Tiwa.
And my name is Tola.
And we are two wonderful, gorgeous women that are parenting two incredible,
amazing,
wonderful,
phenomenal, outstanding, beautiful,
chocolate, wonderful boys who have an autism diagnosis. This space is about raising SEN kings and queens. This is a space where SEN parenting meets womanhood and sisterhood.
Motherhood and everything else in between.
That's right. Without further ado, though,
I'm so excited today.
Yeah, this episode is very special. It's another wonderful one because we have someone special.
Extra special.
Tola, you did the honors.
So this woman, a speck of a woman, she's one of the first people I met when I started sharing, autism parenting. And we met and we clicked immediately. It was like mine and yours type of clicking. It was crazy like that. And I would describe her as a phenomenal mom. She's an excellent autism advocate. And she is raising 3 beautiful young ladies, 2 of them on the spectrum, but I'm not going to go into all of what she does because I'm going to let her do that. But without further ado, please welcome today with us, Sua!
Thank you.
Hi, Sua.
Welcome, sis.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Isn't it wonderful how we're matching?
Honestly.
Look,
Like we called the memo.
And we did. This was not planned, by the way.
Not
Because
planned.
mine and
Yeah,
planned.
sorry.
Not planned. I love it. We're in
It's
sync.
so good to have you.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's so good to have you. Your platform is incredible. For those of you who don't know, Sua, I've seen Sua's stuff on Instagram because of your amazing, wonderful angel of a child.
Thank you.
Eden Rose.
Yes.
And that's probably where most of our viewers that are seeing you today will know you from.
Remember you from, yeah.
Sua, we are going to jump straight in.
Yes,
we already know that you are not afraid to get deep. You're not afraid to be real. And we've already said this is the space for real talk. The joys, the challenges, the ups, the downs, all of it.
Absolutely.
I think a really good way to start, which is not common when you're a mum of children with additional needs, is actually delving first into you.
Absolutely.
Who were you before
the girls
you
came?
were a SEN mum? Who were you before you had kids? Who is Sua?
Ooh, Sua, yeah.
Who is Sua? So my name is actually Owusua. The proper Ghana Ashanti name.
Let's hear it. What does it mean?
I don't know. I asked my dad and he doesn't know, which is even more bizarre because that's his mum's name.
Okay.
But Owusu is really common. Like it's a Ghanaian male name and then the A at the end makes it female.
Okay.
Yeah, I was that little girl. I was born in Ghana. I grew up in Ghana up until the age of 14.
Okay.
And I grew up to a mum who is a fashion designer.
Ooh.
In fact, my whole family, all the ladies in my family are fashion designers. We just have this creative gene. And it spills even beyond fashion. It's just a love for the finer things in life, like everything. The house
We
you
love
live
it.
in,
I hear it.
the clothes you wear, the food you eat, the lot. And so I grew up around this wonderfully curated life. That's really what my mom was about. Everything from the plates we would eat on, everything.
Wow.
And my dad was an economist.
Okay.
He got into politics in the end. So I just grew up in this family that really appreciated life. And we're really solid when it came to things like faith. So religion was really, really important. Faith in God, because there were lots of challenges, even growing up as a child. I have 7 half brothers and sisters. And I have 1 sister from both my parents. And so there was nothing like the normal kind of life, I grew up with 2 homes. I would spend time in my mum's house and in my dad's house. I had I don't like to call her stepmother, my bonus mother, who very much, treated me like her own. And at the age of 14, I decided that actually I wanted to move to England because my godmother, who's my mother's identical twin, lived in England.
Okay.
And so I came here with, you know, with all my dreams intact. I very much wanted to go into law because my mum's side, so the women are all fashion creatives and then the men are all lawyers.
Okay.
So I wanted both. I wanted to do something in fashion and I wanted to go into law. And by God's abundant grace, I have been able to do both.
Wow.
So yeah, so that was me as a child, very much wanting to do what inspired me from both sides of the family, the women and the men. And I also always wanted to have children young. I always did. I wanted to grow up with my children. I wanted to experience things with my children and not feel so disconnected. I think my parents' prayer was that I would do it being the African parents that they were, that I would, you know, get married and then go on and do that. And so, yes, I wanted to have daughters for sure because I wanted them to wear all the pretty dresses that I had the pleasure of wearing. And that was pretty much me in a nutshell. But I think, too, as you were asking the question, I'm still very much that girl, though. So even though I'm talking about me in the past, I'm still very much living.
I was going to say that. Have you seen,
Yeah.
Sue's style? She's very much still that girl.
I'm still like beyond, apart from it just having, I think what's changed is that I'm a mother and of course these kids are growing, but I'm still very much that girl at heart. I really am. Like I wake up every morning still with those dreams, still with, you know, I'm still chasing them. I'm trying to do all the things.
How have you managed to do that?
I ask myself that question all the time because Lord knows that on a day-to-day, just being a mum of my girls, it's not easy. But I have this persevering spirit. And I also have this inability to stay down for long. I can't. You know, my child was in hospital yesterday. That was yesterday. Insofar as this morning, we woke up, she's breathing, she's happy, I'm good. Wow. Today is a new day. And I've always had that about me, and I think I got that from my dad. My dad was this, he just had this effervescence for life. He lived every day like it was his last. Yeah, and I think I've just adopted that, and I'm grateful for it.
I love it for you, sis.
So
I love it for you.
You know what? In the first, I don't even know how many minutes we've been speaking for, but you've already unpacked so much in the first bit. I'm aware that the amazing people that we've built over as a community that are watching in might not know everything about you, so I'm going to take it a little bit back. Tola mentioned in your intro that you've got 3 daughters.
I do.
One of the incredible things about your story, your life, Sua, is that 2 of your daughters have autism diagnosis. Is that correct?
That's right.
It's one thing having one.
Yes.
It's one thing when it happens to one child.
Yes.
2?
Yes.
So when you're speaking about your personality, when you're speaking about your perseverance, when you're even speaking about you still even being aware that you're still the girl that you were, even though this is what your world looks like, this is what you've been given. I think that's so incredible.
It is.
And I want to pause for 1 second because I'm aware that even though there's 3 of us on the sofa, we've got how many hundreds of millions, by God's grace,
Amen.
watching
Yeah.
and in. So if this is you, before we even go any further into your story and your journey, Sua,
Yes.
you don't have one, you have 2 children that with an autism diagnosis. And yet, every day, like you said, you don't stay down. Every single day, you're still that young girl. You still look amazing. I've seen your Instagram. Your style is still impeccable. So that means for another mum out there, you can still have those bits of you too.
Yes.
No matter how, no matter what your world looks like, you can still be you and carry your individuality no matter what is going on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I believe in that fervently. Our children aren't brought to us to, we're absolutely meant to learn from them for sure, but I appreciate they're a separate entity for me. You know, I think one of the difficulties of being in this space, being a parent of neurodivergent children, is it's really hard to disassociate ourselves from what we thought they would be. And oftentimes, we want our children to be just like we were, you know? Because the only way to parent is to parent the way you were parented, because we've never done it before. And so one of the most difficult things is to actually disassociate yourself from the way you felt you would parent, and also how you thought your children would be. And I think once I accepted the fact that my children are going to be different from me, that brought so much ease into my spirit. Wow. And I truly, I do the best I can for my girls. God knows that. But I really prioritize myself. Wow. I do. I really do.
Has that always been the case, or did you have to learn that with time?
It has always been the case. I think my life events, things that have happened in my life, unbeknownst to me, have prepared me to have no choice but to prioritize myself. So many things. I was homeless at a point in my life as a teenager. You know, I had nowhere to go in a foreign country. I took my clothes into church in a black bag. And it was me. You know, and I look back and I think, why did I think I couldn't go back home? I had parents who live a good life. Yeah. But it was that persevering spirit where I felt, I've made this decision to be in this country. I'm going to make it work. And I did.
That's amazing.
By God's abundant grace, I did. Yeah. So I've always just had that tenacity by God's grace, because I know it really is grace. Yeah.
I asked that because on this journey, and I wish that I could say the exact same thing that you said, that, you know, I know that I should make myself a priority, but it's something that I had to learn. And just like you, all the things you said, like, you know, you're able to separate the you, Sua, from the you, mommy, Sua.
Yeah.
And I had to learn that. And I had to learn it from the experience of what it looked like not to learn that.
Right.
Like, I had to learn it from losing myself into what my reality looked like. And for all the sisters, moms, families out there that feel like they're consumed in the moment, it's a real feeling. It's a real thing. But it doesn't have to be forever. And you don't have to stay in that place. And it might look hopeless and desperate and helpless, and it might look black, not even dark, black.
Yeah. Yeah.
But in my story, I'm testament that it takes work. It takes uncomfortable things. Like, I'm very Nigerian, and we know what we are like when it comes to seeking help. We got this. We can do this. What do you mean I have to sit with a stranger and be telling them my story?
Right.
What do you mean? What is that person gonna do? Do they know me?
Right, exactly.
You know, and for you, that might not be it. It might be that your family, you know, you would find out what would work for you. But I just want you to know that you don't have to stay in that place. And you actually, I don't think anyone belongs in that place.
That's it.
Such a desperate place to be. Such a helpless, horrible place to be, where you feel like you're helpless and hopeless. Nobody deserves to be in that place. So if that's where you are now, I hope that you learning that there is a other side is comforting for you. And I hope that you can find a way to get to that place, and that you can use resources that would help you be in that space. Because,
yeah.
Tola, you spoke about the black, right? So let's call it the black.
The black. It's not, I don't think it's dark.
Yeah, let's call it the black.
Yeah.
So you said that as a young girl, you had dreams and you knew that you wanted to have children. I think one of the things today, and we didn't really say actually what you're doing here. We should have. Sorry, guys. We're just exploring sisterhood and motherhood, all things womanhood. We really wanted to concentrate on that with you today. You had all these dreams, and then part of that dream comes to reality, which is that you do get blessed with your girls.
Yes.
You do get blessed with your incredible girls. But I think that we can all attest to the fact that there's a grieving process. When the children that we give birth to are not the ones that we had in our mind. So, Sua, your situation, And I don't call it a situation because it's a blessing and it's a world and it's your world. So I take that back. It's not a situation. Your story, your beautiful life is different from mine and Tola's because you have 2 children. And I want you to talk a bit about the grieving. You spoke about how you get back up. And for everyone watching, we know what it's like, especially as Black women. There's something that is called the Black woman syndrome, the strong woman syndrome, where we have this ability to quickly bounce back and we're resilient. And words like tenacity and strength and perseverance are a badge of honor. But it's been, we've abused it so much, and it's been abused so much, where a lot of us are not functioning as ourselves and how our wellest self, is that even a word, but our most well self.
Because of that.
So I want you to talk a bit about the other bit that maybe we don't talk about as much, which is the grieving. What did that look like? Did you have to grieve? And if you did, what did it look like between grieving and persevering and getting up?
That is a powerful question. The grieving is real for me. Real. I remember 12, 13 years ago when Eden had begun showing signs, which I didn't know at the time were signs of autism. And the grieving looked like not understanding my child, not understanding what was happening to us as a family unit, not understanding why other children were speaking and mine wasn't, or other children or other families seemed to just have this ease. And everything just felt so difficult. The simplest of things just took so much more effort. And it just felt like, why is this happening to me? Especially because of the challenges that I'd had in my life prior to even having this second child, you know? Where it just felt like I've imagined and dreamt and prayed for this. Why can't it just be perfect? You know? Why does it always have to feel like, yeah, I'll give it to you, but, you know?
Wow.
And it took time because the grieving doesn't stop. The grieving is a continuous process.
Exactly that.
I think the rawest of feelings, of course, naturally would be at the beginning when you're coming to terms with what is happening, especially once they put the name on it, then it's like, okay, now we know exactly what we're dealing with. But the grieving doesn't stop. And it can be black. Absolutely, it can be black. Like when I do my ugly cries, God, like, yeah, it's real. And I have that safety net in my family, in my husband in particular, in my eldest daughter. That's my safest space. And also my other safe space is on my knees by my bedside, where because in as much as I can go to my husband, to my child, the deepest, innermost feelings that no one can get to, that's for me and my God. That's for when I get down on my knees and I'm like, God, this is too hard. Like, it's not supposed to be this hard. The grieving is continuous. The grieving, I would say, took a different level, or has taken a different level even, with a second diagnosis with Everrain, for sure, where I thought I'd lose my mind. Yeah. Like, Megan Ashley said something recently, and it sounds controversial because nobody wants to say with their children that, and I definitely don't want it to come across that way because all 3 of my girls are incredibly special to me. They're very different, but they're incredibly special. But for me, when it comes to my youngest, Everrain, remember I have a nearly 20-year-old, and then I have a 15-year-old, and then Ever is 5. So they're huge gaps. And through all of life's struggles, from financial, we didn't have a home. We moved in to live with my mother-in-law, a family of 4 living in one room because we're saving to buy a home. All of these things, right? And I know there's some privilege attached to that to even put yourself in a position to do these things. But anyway, we did all of those things. And I remember getting to a place where I felt like we can entertain the idea of another child. we're now in a position where, yes, I mean, we're not, obviously, but we're inching closer and closer. And we can finally, we can buy a home. I can take my child to that school that I've always dreamt of, seeing children wearing these uniforms, you know, and I'm like, that's the child I'm going to take my child, you know, school I'm going to take my child to. And I remember Eva was born around COVID and begun to see signs of autism. And in the beginning, it was difficult because I couldn't quite disassociate from whether it was the fallout from COVID, because these children naturally had been in this bubble. So it wasn't very clear. But because of Eden, it was like, this is what we're looking at, right? And I couldn't accept it. I said, God, you're not going to do this to me again. Not again. And there was almost a shame that was attached to it for me for the longest time. It's like, it cannot be happening again. And I didn't even know, genuinely, I didn't know that once you have a child with autism, apparently there is a higher percentage of having another child with autism. I did not know that. And God knows, because of the mind that I have, I'm a warrior. I would have made myself sicker when I was pregnant if I knew, because I would have spent every day worrying. I didn't know. So I was happily oblivious, ignorant. In fact, towards the end of my pregnancy, I remember someone asking me, what if this child, have you considered whether this child, and I thought, how dare you? Like, why would that even cross your mind? Why is that something? It hit me big time with Eva. Big time, because she was that child. And I mentioned Megan Ashley because she said something about her son who has an autism diagnosis, and he has another condition. I can't remember what it's called. But she said he was the child that she really planned for. The child that I think, in her words, she really wanted. And I say that with sensitivity because Everbrain was that child that, she's my final child. I wanted to do all the things, like I said, the best school, everything, you know? And so it was like, no, this can't be. Not this child. Yeah, not this child. So the grieving is still very, very.
Sis, it's like you are mirroring me. Because this conversation, especially around having another child after you have a child already with a diagnosis, is a big conversation. And in terms of myself, like between my first and my second, there's very little space. Kevin didn't have a diagnosis before Kayla was born.
I see.
You know, so there was not a thought. But when it came to having Caden, and you know, you didn't do any research as to could it happen again, but I did all of that.
I see.
And I said this to you plenty times, Sua. The 9 months of pregnancy for me was like 9 months of horror. Like, me and my husband would stay up at night. We better be worrying together because there's no way I'm awake and you're sleeping. And the first 2 years of his life, I was on everything. I said it to you too, that he tiptoed one day and I put his feet right back on the floor. Like, you better keep both feet on the floor straight, because I know what that meant sometimes. And this is normal part of development.
Right.
But I know that these were the things that I saw in Kevin that I was so oblivious to. And then so the first 2 years, and with Kevin, I was in uni, so I didn't have time to go to soft play. I didn't have time to go to all of these things. And sis, after maternity leave, I took extended maternity leave. I did all of these things. I was in mother and baby sessions all day, every day. The morning session, I was there. The afternoon session, I was there. I was doing puzzles. I was doing jigsaws. I was reading books. I had to save up for private school because I'm like, okay, you're gonna, just like you said.
Yeah.
And all of that, I then hear it because Caden now doesn't have an autism diagnosis, but when you're saying all of that, it relates to me. And I hear it when you then said, God, you can't possibly have done this to me again. I hear all of it.
Not that child. A friend said to me, actually, she was like, this was even before Eva's diagnosis, she said, you hold this child like an egg. Like, she's, you know, there's just so much. You can't, if you're handling her, you better handle her with care. You know, everything about her, everything. I'm meticulous in everything, where I shop for her, where I go with her, everything. And people would say it. They were like, it's almost a bit too much, you know? So this was, there was almost like a humbling part to it. I was like, wow, so much of this is out of my control. At least that's how it felt in the beginning. Because I was doing all the things, like you, doing all the things. And I think when it's meant to be, there isn't much you can do. At least that's how I feel, yeah.
Sua, I have one child. And what you're saying still resonates because transparently, it has played on my mind. If I wanted to have more children, if I wanted my son to have siblings, what does that look like? What if they had autism diagnosis? What if they had an autism diagnosis too? What does it look like? So I just want to really honor your transparency right now, because I can only imagine the amount of sisters, the amount of families listening that feel the same way, but feel guilty to say it, feel like they're bad women, bad mothers, to say that it's a fear, or to say that maybe it's not a fear. Maybe I know a mum that has 3 autistic kids, and she knew that it was a possibility that she could have more. She didn't mind. She said, God gave me 1. I love him. He's amazing. And then he gave me 2 more, and they're incredible. But that's not everybody's story, and that's not everybody's capacity. I think what you've shared is so, so powerful. Yeah. It's so, so powerful. The idea of grief, the idea of carrying a child like an egg. I feel like with me, it's almost the other way around, because he's my one. So there isn't the same element of carrying him like an egg, and nothing can go wrong and everything must go in a way. Otherwise the guilt is just unbearable. But somehow, Sua, you're doing it. Yeah. And I bet your kids would tell you how they all feel equally loved, equally held, equally seen. I think it's incredible. You mentioned someone special. You talked about him being your support. I think it's something that we shouldn't skirt over again. No. Statistically, families that have children with an autism diagnosis or some type of condition are much more likely to not stay together. But you're married, aren't you?
I am.
To your babes?
I am.
And how long have you been married for?
Be 21 years next month.
Can you hear that?
I'm not even about to ask how old you are.
Can
I'm not
you
even about to
imagine that?
That's incredible.
Wow.
Yeah. And what I want to ask you about that, Sua, I mean, that's a glory to God, first of all, and a huge congratulations. Thank because, you. We know that's not easy.
20 years is a long time.
But tell me, how has autism, what part has that played in your marriage?
Wow. Yeah.
And I separate that, Sua, from the children, because it's different. Everyone has kids, and kids play a part. But the actual diagnosis and what that comes with in a dynamic, how has that affected the marriage?
I would hand on heart say, and it's I'm gonna answer the question in this way, because I feel it's impossible to answer the question without touching on the essence of the man that God has blessed me with. And that is a man who was so, when I met him, I say was, he still very much is that person. But I think in the earlier days, without even knowing, I met him when I was 19. And what was different about him was just how much of a principled man he was. Principled to a fault. What he says he will do is exactly what he will do. And he was he's a man of character, but very family oriented, very, to a fault. He's the one son of his mother who she will call in the middle of the night when she needs something. He's the one brother that his brothers will call and they know that he's got it. My father would call him and knew that he would handle it. Anyone My mother will reach out to him and she knows that her son-in-law has got this. He's that guy. He was dependable. And he showed these signs very early on, you know. And so I knew that this is a guy who could handle everything that comes with family. And so I think when Eden got diagnosed, it was new to him just as it was for me. And he just carries this ease, you know. I'm the warrior. I'm the emotional one. I'm leaving no stone unturned. I'm doing all the things. And it's going to be okay. Like, we've got this. It's going to be okay. I'll tell you, 2 weeks ago, we sat in Kingston Hospital in the genetics office. The places Everrain has taken me, listen, the places that child has taken me. Anyway, I'm going to digress. So we sat in the genetics office with this guy, and he showed, like I said, he's dependable. There's no meeting that Michael isn't there with me. And you hear people say, they're like, we're not used to dads being here. He's there. Before even I dial in, he's there. So he's at this genetics meeting, and they say to us that Everrain has she has a chromosome deletion in addition to epilepsy, in addition to autism, in addition to a severe nut allergy. So they tell us that she has this rare chromosome deletion. They tell us the name of the chromosome, and they say to us, the next step is for us to consider doing genetic testing. So I have to do it. We should consider doing it, because what that does is narrows down where it's coming from, whether it's me or whether it's him. And I'm listening to this, I'm processing this, and I'm like, you know, like, we're married, and who's to say? I don't want, God forbid, you don't know what goes on in people's heads at the end of the day, right? And then one day they're thinking, it's your family, you know, this thing that we're dealing with, it's your family.
All this time.
Yeah, and we left, and he said, he just put his hand on my hand, and he said, listen, I don't care wherever this so-called genetic whatever, she's here, she's ours, and we'll deal with it, you know. So I've digressed a bit. I think as a couple, it's become a real solid partnership. It's a real partnership. It's like the yin and yang, you know, we have exactly what I lack, he provides, and what he lacks, I provide. And some way, somehow, we don't have it all figured out for sure, but on a day-to-day, somehow, with laughter, because we do our best to laugh even through some of the challenges, right? Like, we were in the hospital yesterday, and he pointed something out, and lo and behold, you know, our daughter's lying on the bed, and we were laughing. That's how we've been able to get through the challenging times.
What a way.
Yeah.
And, you know, you said you digressed, but Sua, you digressed so perfectly. You know, marriage is, and it's two people, isn't it? And I think what's so beautiful about your answer is what you actually described was, we've been able to get through it because of the person I married. Essentially, you married somebody that you got a great partnership, and also when the boat is rocked, they can withstand. He's a good captain. He's a good team player, it sounds like. And I think,
and vice versa.
Exactly. And I think for anyone watching, man, this topic is a whole episode in itself.
Yes.
But for anyone watching, you might be blessed enough to have this. You might not have this. I think there's encouragement for whatever situation you're in, whether it's the one that you're ideal, and what sounds like an ideal is what you have, partners that can get through these things together, because I can only imagine what it's like for your children to see such steadiness in it. But if you are watching, guys, and you don't, I have a little word of encouragement right now, and it's just sometimes it might not be in your direct partner, maybe it's in your community, maybe it's in your tribe. When we did the last brunch,
Friendships.
the Breathe and Bond brunch, we were all there together, weren't we? The last
Yeah,
brunch we did.
yeah.
And do you remember there was that friendship that we saw?
Those two
And they
friends.
were each other's,
They got each
Yes.
other.
they were best friends. They were sisters. They have each other. She was at the hospital bed too. She was the person that got her through when she wasn't calm too.
She came to that event, even though she's not an autism mom.
Or parent,
Or parent
but
or
she
anything.
is an adopted one because she's chosen that is her family, that is her
Right.
sister. Absolutely incredible, and maybe a really good segue, Tola, into the next part that we really wanted Siwa to answer, and it was your tribe, Siwa. What does support look like for you outside of your safe space, which you've mentioned is your family? And be real, has it been there?
So support today looks like this community that I've been able to, blessed enough to build. And it sounds odd because these are people on the other side of a laptop or a phone or whatever. And so for the most part, these are virtual connections, right? Or at least that's what we believe. But I think the ability to connect with people who are in the same or a similar pathway as you is so powerful. And I don't take it for granted. And I know it's not by chance either. I know that there's a divine,
Orchestration.
exactly, that I'm living out. I don't take it for granted one bit. That's real support for me. In as much as, honestly, like, people say that, oh, Swa, by sharing these girls' journey, you've inspired. I get so much more, from this page. I really do. Because I think I mentioned, I overshare. Like, I'm that person who I see comfort in. It's not so much that I want, or is it? There's a real, I love connection. I really do. Like, it sometimes doesn't come across that way because I am a bit of an introvert, but I really value connection. There is not, and I'm this is so real. Like, anyone who reaches out to me in my DMs, I know this is like, because I always think about
We've
you.
talked
We've
about
had this
this
conversation. Scalability is obviously, I hesitate because I can do that now. I don't know, as the page continues to grow, I know that will become more difficult. But that's the need of connection that I crave, especially because this is uncharted territory for me, like, especially with Everrain, with all the other things. I want to connect with people in a similar space to me, Black mothers who are navigating all these additional things. So that is real support. My friends that I've some I've grown up with, others I've made more recently. Yeah.
You've talked about friendships, but please permit me to dig a bit more into, what did that look like for you? Did you have to have a conversation about, this is my reality and this was what way I would look, this is what friendship support would look like for me? Or have they just been able to fill that space in the exact way you needed it?
That's such a great question. I think I'm at this place in my life where, because of how public I am with my girl's journey, and maybe this is to my detriment, maybe this is my blind spot that I'm not, I feel like I share so much that true friends don't need me to sit them down and say, this is what's happening. You can see what's happening. But that also comes with an assumption that not everyone's on social media, and I'm a really sensitive person. So for those that matter, for those I really value, I do. I sit them down and say, yes, this is what is happening. It's like you alluded to, you won't catch me saying, I need this, that, and the other from you. Because there's a pride thing, but also there is a, if you want to, you don't have to be told, you know? I mean, I know there are friends generally who say, I don't know how to help.
And this is why I asked, because
Yeah.
some people want to show up for you and be there for you, but they just don't know how. And that's why I'm exploring, like, is there a need for conversations to happen? Because I'd use myself as a bit of an example. Like, none of my friends have a reality that looks like mine. None of my friends have autistic kids. And we're friends, deep friends. Like, as I said, I have had, for the most part, the same friends since high school. But then me and Tiwa, we met last year, but then we have autism parenting in common.
Right.
And it's really deep. It's now one of my deepest friendships.
Yeah.
You know, so that's why I was asking that. And now, because I'm thinking about it myself, that is it a thing where I have to explain? Because is it fair to expect them to know what I need in this type of way? Because I don't have to explain anything to you. If I say stimming, you get it, you know it. If I say, you know, there's no sleep, you get it, you know it. You know, but with a friend that doesn't have that type of reality, would it be fair for me to expect them to be there for me in a certain way when they don't know?
It wouldn't be fair. And I agree. I mean, I didn't even know. I had Eden. I didn't know that autism could look like this until I had Everrain. I didn't know, and I already had a child with autism. So it wouldn't be fair for me to have that expectation. By God's grace, I'm having this thing in next month, well, early August. And everyone coming, they're new friendships. And I've been intentional about that. And I think that's the blessing with these children, because they open up so much. And I'm here for it. I embrace it all.
Apologies if that felt a bit uncomfortable, but here we try to have conversations that may be uncomfortable but need to be had, because just like the scenario I've explained, sometimes you have friendships that want to be there but just don't know how. And you know, in life there's more than one way of doing things. You know, there's you sit down and expect that you're my friend, you have to gap me like this, you have to be there, you should know. But then there's the other part of I want to, but how?
Right. Yeah.
And there's so much learning.
There is so much learning.
In that in itself.
There is so much learning. I feel like when you have a child who has the level of need that Everrain has, you see a different side of people. There is a discomfort that comes with a child who can't speak. A child who might bite you if you come too close. You know, a child who has those behaviors that society shuns. I see it. You don't even have to say it. Like when I see people around, I see the discomfort in their faces. And so it's almost like people don't want to come around, actually. You know, you have this beautiful space, and, you know, when you're decorating, you're like, oh, it'd be nice to have our friends around, and it's not happening. Because guess what? You have a child now that people don't feel comfortable around, or don't know, or have to tread very carefully because they don't know what to say around the child. You see, they don't even have to say it, you see it. So that's it's an interesting time.
Territory.
Yeah.
Truly.
So are you, we've been talking a lot about friendships, and I wanted to just shout out to all the amazing friends out there. Shout out to the people that asked the question that your friend asked that day. It's happened to me before, where one of my friends said, Tiwa, I want to involve Levi with everything my nephews, they don't even have a child yet. With everything my nephews are doing, what do I have to do? What do I need to learn in order to involve Levi into everything? It touched me so deeply. I went home and cried. So shout out to all the friends. Shout out to the people that are able to step out of their worlds, for even just for a second, and in 2 hours, and ask questions that help us feel seen for a second, held for a second, understood for a second. The moments when we can just literally breathe and bond.
Yes.
Because just like you said, Sua, I can see it in people's eyes. The moment they feel just a bit, the moment my son makes a noise on the phone and there's a pause, the moment they don't know what to say or how to describe, or the moment they're waiting for a certain reaction or a voice or a word, and they're like, I see it, and I'm so sensitive to it.
Listen.
So shout out to the few.
Yeah.
And if you don't and you can't, this is not saying you're terrible. No. It's just honoring the people, because it's so few and far between. Just honoring you guys out there, because it's incredible to experience it, and it's always once in a while. It doesn't happen every day.
But it's something that can happen, honestly, because children with special needs are here. They're a part of the world as we know it. And I think that nobody should get away with, well, it's not my business. It's all our businesses. You can make a conscious effort to learn things. You can make a conscious effort to want to be better. It's not like back in the days where you had to get an encyclopedia to read about something. You can Google, you can TikTok, you can IG, you can YouTube. If you wanted to, you can do it. So yes, shout out to the people that just naturally get it.
Yeah.
But also it's food for thought.
Yeah.
If you feel like that's not you, or maybe I'm not, well then do something.
Yeah.
Your Nigerian side really came out there, Tola.
Do
Don't give me
something.
nothing like,
Do
know
something.
yourself.
Do something.
Love it.
Really,
There's no excuses, sis.
really wonderful point. And I think maybe to round this up, Sue, because we have to have you back. We've got too much
Please
to
come
chop
back.
up. We've got too much to chop up with you. I think we had something in mind of what we wanted to speak about, but you're such an amazing guest, by the way. You've brought so much here today. Honestly, you have so much, and we've spoken about womanhood, spoke about friendships,
marriage.
Yeah, I think when you're next on, one of the things I do want to ask you is how your family members, the closest people, reacted to the diagnosis. First of Eden Rose, and then Ever Rain, because one, then two, in an African community.
Culture.
Yeah.
So maybe we say that till next time.
Yeah.
Should we say that till next time?
Yes.
Because
That's one in itself.
Yes.
That's the culture episode.
That's one in itself.
Yes.
Yeah, that is the culture episode.
But yeah, I think I know that you have really spoken to the hearts of especially the sisters watching this today, the mums, the friends, the aunties, everything that you touched on. I want us to end on a word of encouragement for them. Yeah. I do. I'll start. Maybe we could do like 20 seconds each. We can go around.
Okay.
Actually, let's give the mic first to Sua. If you have something to say about everything we've spoken about today to a sister out there, I want you to talk to your sister.
What can I say? I would say to stay encouraged. It's hard. The challenges come from north, east, west, and south. And you can't see the wood for the trees. You don't know, what the next step is going to look like. You're scared for the future. You're losing hope. The day where you actually think, this is going to be a better day, that's actually the day where the challenges, it's almost like the devil's listening into your prayers, right? The days where you pray against a certain behavior, that's the day your child is displaying all of it and more. I want you to know that you should stay encouraged. And it's easy to say, but please, 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 please stay encouraged, because what looks like this today can be a very different situation next week, next month, next year. Have the vision of what you want, not just your child, but your life to look like, and fight. Fight every day, tooth and nail, to hold on to it. Life might look very different. Of course, it won't be exactly as we've pictured it to be, but don't lose yourself and stay encouraged. There's a lot to that, but that's
so beautiful. I think for me, I always try and use myself a bit as an example, because I feel like you can't get your story wrong. And one thing I struggled with the most, especially in the early days, was the isolation that came along this journey. And I shared earlier that there was just nobody that had a reality that looked like mine. Not my friends, nobody in my close network. So I thought it was all happening to me. I'm the only one that has a kid like this. So I want to say to another sister that you are not alone. You are not alone. It might look like that, it might feel like that, but remind yourself that you are not alone. And do bits to find your community.
Right.
Because they're out there.
Yeah.
You know, it's not a bragging thing, but sometimes my DMs are overwhelming. And that shows that your people that have lives that look just like yours are out there. So hope that encourages you. Because sometimes you don't even need someone that has a solution to what you're going through. You just want to know that it's not only happening to you.
Yes.
And yeah, that would be my word of encouragement. It's just, you know, even when it gets dark and black, you're not alone.
Again, another amazing one. I think my word of encouragement today, sisters, especially sisters if you're watching, is coming directly from our amazing guest that we've had here today. It's that the story that you might have thought in your head might not be the one that you're living. But just like Sua has shown us, you can still create something beautiful too. It might be hard. And you might think after one blow, you're cool, and then you get another one. But even in the blows, there are blessings.
Yes.
They are called Eden Rose and Ever Rain.
I love that.
And even in that too, you can still keep your womanhood. Sua found a way to still practice law, to still think about fashion, to still keep the things about her that made her authentic. And even in the storm, you can have another captain in your ship. Michael, Sua's boo, is kept her afloat, and they balance and equalize each other out. So, sisters, I don't know, there's so much to take from Sua's amazing presence here today, but it's that. Listen, in the blows, there are blessings.
Yes.
You can still keep your womanhood despite everything going on, and find your tribe.
Yes.
Even if it's not your boo, it might be your sisters, it might be your community online, it might even be in your children, your family and friends. And the last one that I didn't want to skirt over was, it's food for thought. Are you being that friend? Could you do more? Could you be more? Could you make more space? Could you step outside of yourself more? What an incredible episode this has been.
Yeah.
So we do not have enough time. We will be speaking here for 3 hours.
We'll be here all day.
Easily.
Yeah,
Easily.
yeah. But thank you for coming on. For all the sisters watching,
Thank you.
remember, share this with someone that needs this.
Yeah.
Share this. You don't have to say a word, just share it with them. Who needs some love and some light today? This is Breathe and Bond. SEN parenting, womanhood, sisterhood, all things.
Motherhood,
Yeah,
everything in between.
everything. And we're just so glad that you've been here and watched this with us today.
Thank you, sisters. Catch you on the next one.
See you next time.